Good day, traders and investors. Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and we have another fantastic little bit here. We're going to be looking at Virgin Galactic stock. As you may know, some people may have not known, kind of with the undisclosed amount of how much of Sir Richard Branson sold nearly $500 million worth of his stake in Virgin Galactic tourism spaceflight company. That happened basically 2 or 3 weeks ago. And that brought the stock down. Everyone's like, whoa, that's gotten down way too much because it had to sell, again, $26 million a share, or 26 stocks, the volume of 26 million shares for him to be able to maintain some of his other businesses of Virgin airline company and things like that. We're going to be diving into the charts here in a second to kind of see on why I'm putting a small feeler bet out there, which we put out last week. I'm kind of in a super space mode due to SpaceX launching their craft tomorrow at 4:30. Then the combination of SpaceX and Virgin Galactic here, looking at a new igniting the flame of a new generation of space. I feel like this is going to be just a fantastic time to be alive, to be able to see what the human brain and the power of us working together can really conquer and really break into a brand new industry we didn't even think about. So that being said, we talked about is at Friday's close price, 25 million shares at again, the ticker symbol is SPCE. It was around $20. I kind of wanted to buy it around 15ish. Again, just a little bit after, under $500 million of dollar amount, and that's about 25 million shares. And we got to look at the charts. It kind of says I don't think people are kind of reading into it long. I kind of let the story kind of pass due to the fact of people kind of like downing it. Yes, they don't really have or generated much revenue. They've had successful flights, but it's not like there are people booking for this already, but nothing has really happened yet. So if you're not familiar with the matter, it's basically a spacecraft that's launched from an airplane, and it uses a rocket to kind of go to the outer surface, the ozone layer within our Earth's orbit, to kind of get you into space, and allows you to experience seeing at enormous amount of heights, basically being able to have that experience. I think each seat or each cost of a ride is like I think it was like $250,000, $300,000. So it's not like buying a ticket to Vegas for like $1,000 or whatever, depending where part of the country you're at. It's going to be substantially more than that. That being said, we can just go ahead and just throw up the charts. Again, this thing is a little recap. Last year went on a crazy ride, really got on everyone's attention. Basically, I want to say into December, into the new year, and we kind of had a rocket higher into the early February timeframes, where we had enormous amount of FOMO and a lot of fear of missing out. Like we talk about a lot, this is kind of similar to the NAT scenario, where even though the company, for whatever reason, you have to take the bigger picture out, in the sense of what the company's balance sheet is, what they're doing, what sector they're in. Once you see literally the amount of volume come in, like again, I'm looking at these blue lines over here, so I'll kind of give you a better perspective here. Seeing down here on the very bottom here, you're seeing literally 100 million shares nearly come in on one day, and that is 7-8 times the average volume and at any given day. There's something bad, or something, it doesn't mean it's bad or good, it's just going to be an influx of time to get out, because a lot of those are going to be weak hands, especially if it's after a 2 to 3 day period of a huge run up. We saw that. We got into the stock, I don't know, 12 or 15 multiple times, rode all the way up, got around out like 35 and 40, didn't hit the very top, you never do, and then it comes kind of crashing down. All all the weak hands are coming out, just getting rid of it. Just super fearful of losing any bit of money. Of course, they're losing money because, again, once the 5 crossed into the 8, it just created a huge gap down. Try to recover on getting above the 21 here, kind of making a dead cat bounce, and then come flying down to a low, not the overall low, but it got to the low of this year of around, what is that, $9. Kind of rebounded, failed at the 21 again, came back down. But that's when the parabolic SAR, the purple dots, kind of came in to kind of give it lifting support, kind of helping it right up here. Closing above the 21 with the 5 and 8 crossing over the 21 is fantastic. And now kind of just riding out the 21, which kind of got my attention. I'm like, this might be a chance to get into the stock again. Then did a little bit of Googling, and it was that day after, or the day before, I think it was on the 11th or 12th, where a lot of the reports came out that Sir Branson was selling all the shares. And that's, of course, very fearful in the sense of what folks were expecting. So we can go back to here, the volume. It wasn't, again, you're talking about 25 million. So the amount of shares, there's no way they could have done that all at once. 25 million shares is basically, it trades about 6.8 to 7 million shares on average a day. So they're going to have to split it out of the 3 days. So basically, they most likely did it this day, and that day. And then you kind of see the filing coming out. And then that's when you get the news of it kind of breaking down. Once it kind of broke down like this, go back to this chart here, the 5 and 8 kind of came through the 21, overreacted. I kind of wanted to see the support hold here at the 200 exponential moving average, and kind of to see level off a little bit, and kind of seeing it stay above the 200 most of the time. And once it kind of did, we bought into it slightly. Actually, we bought in, what did we buy in that? I think it was like around 15 something. So probably around like this gap down right here we bought into, and it kind of, again, it's just not putting in every single dollar amount, just putting in a feeler position to kind of see if it continued to break down, and then the 5 and 8 exponential moving average will continually to kind of cross through the 200. That would be a not too fun day, but we're waiting for the parabolic SAR to kind of switch over, have the 5 and 8 break through the 21 for a potential break higher. I think that we could be seeing that in the near-term future. Again, these are just my opinions. For me, it has to hold around the $15 level, plus or minus like 50 cents. It can go down, but so we're just going to put a alert there just to be mindful of that. So add it below. If it breaks that, we have to kind of look out for the feeler position, and then of course we want it to break above the 21 here, which is around $16.75. It's currently trading above $16.50 now. Again, this is pre-market at 6:30 on Tuesday on May 26th, so we could be seeing a lot of upward movement today due to the fact of the overall market is trying to break out to a much higher place. That being said, just be very mindful of that. Again, we're looking for some key indications. If you're doing a complete Fibonacci analysis here on this chart, we're not really the 23.6 retracement is again around the 21. We would love to see a retracement back to 25 potentially. I know that is quite far off, but again, no crystal ball here, but we would like to see this kind of a it would be mindful of the chart to give us the consensus of any kind of life in the stock to cut back to the 50% retracement. It might take a lot more time to do that due to all this previous emotional fear and FOMO in the stock here due to this huge run up. A lot of people lost money. There is this gap here which we could see for potential lot of overhead resistance due to the fact of people might be holding it still up here, waiting it to kind of trade up at least to close to that position, due to the fact that's why I put the $25 limit or alert in there to see like, oh, okay, I bought it at 30, but now it's at 25. Let me just get out. So you kind of have to kind of psychologically think on how people, I don't want to call them the dumb money, but the people who are just like, oh, let me just take it as a scratch, and just let me just get out of it because I've been holding it for 3 months now and I'm finally almost back to where I had my initial investment. Let me just cut it and let me just buy some Tesla stock or whatever. You just got to be cognizant of that kind of stuff. So that's why this level is in place here, and that kind of comes in again with that huge gap there, and with the 50% retracement. That's where you kind of see that that mindset come through, with a lot of people trying to get out from holding that position and so forth. Again, you could have the psychological mindset of like, oh, I bought it at 30, came down to 15, I bought some more, and now my cost average is around 20, 25. So if it breaks above these key levels, I'm just going to sell for a scratch or a small profit. Just be super mindful of that. Be very careful out there. A couple of other things to kind of be mindful about. The RSI is trying to curl up. The volume oscillator down here has to kind of break above the positive yellow line here before it could continue movement higher. I really would love to see the parabolic SAR dots to kind of switch to the bottom to kind of give it some upward lift and momentum to trade further out. On the weekly chart, things are just kind of nominal, lack of better words. It's just been holding the 21 for lack of better words, even with the downward movement previously with the stock selling. The trend is still somewhat printing lower here, but the 21 has been kind of a sure place to hold for the weekly side of things there. Wanted to look at this standard deviation chart here. So this, again, standard deviation chart, the green is 1 deviation, the purple is 2, and red is 3 deviations from this medium line here. We kind of, again, this is going to be huge indications of it breaking above the 21, which is what we want to see to get above the $16 and kind of create a potential longer base here and then try to start breaking out from there. So this is again my mindset. If once it starts breaking below even the small triggers of around 1450 or lower and starts breaking into the second deviation here around $14 could be potentially seeing some support around $12 to $11 on the way down. Being mindful that this is going to be, I'm trying to build this into a smaller investment, just looking for a potential growth stock that could be really popping off, because I really would love to buy SpaceX stock, but that is not publicly traded. So I'm kind of buying the next big thing. I know they do two different things, but I think even with the launch on SpaceX coming out tomorrow, this could have an indication of the overall market of the enthusiasm and ignite the flame on space travel and exploration. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. In the description below, we have a fantastic stuff with joining the free Discord chat. We also have a Patreon page to kind of help support the channel. And we have some awesome watch lists that we give out to the subscribers there. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe again. Ken from the Dyslexic Investor. Godspeed.